here I am recording something, which I'm very uncomfortable. Oh, I hate the sound of my voice.
Well, you're not listening to it.
That's why I'm glad I don't have the headphones.
Yeah. Well, it sounds more or
It
less...
sounds actually more or less like me. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but it is accurate that this is what I sound like.
Yeah, but you have to understand, though, that your voice has a character, undeniably, which is more important than what you may think of your voice as being. So in a way...
It doesn't matter if I like me.
No, it doesn't at all.
It only matters if the public likes me.
Nor do you really know what your voice sounds like.
Does anyone know who's talking here? That's the question.
They do.
Okay, good.
It's when you introduce a third voice, male voice, that is sort of in the same range when it gets confusing.
Yeah.
2 is not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's really old, they'll remember Arnold Stang.
He was the one that used to talk like this all the time. Yeah, he was great. He was always like a sidekick guy.
Right. Now, that's Adam doing the voice interpretation. I wouldn't even...
Was he in...
a lot of Abbott and Costello things.
Well,
and,
but he was actually in his famous The Man at the Golden Arm.
Yes, exactly.
Which is Otto
Preminger.
I know.
And you never know when you're doing a performance or anything in life, and you think you're going to wind up being a respected, serious person, and you wind up working as third banana to the Three Stooges and Abbott and Costello.
I know, but, it's very true. But Arnold Stang was really, tonally that was a brave choice to make for Otto Preminger to cast Arnold Stang in a dramatic film like that because he did comedy and he looked funny and he sounded funny.
Right.
And a lot of guys like that, it's so deep in their DNA that they don't know how to switch gears. Mickey Rooney is another guy who did, a lot of comedy. You'd think that because he was a kind of a ham, but when he was given really good dramatic work, he rose to the occasion.
Black Stallion, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, and there's not the only one. He did some noirs, and so he was a guy who could switch gears like that. Jerry Lewis, not so much. No. He tried, but he wasn't as good. I think the closest he came was in King
Don
of Comedy.
Rickles, doing all those Scorsese movies.
He did one Scorsese movie.
Was it only one?
Just Casino? Yeah, I think
so good in Casino. It feels like he did in 5 movies. He got just that performance in Casino. Yeah.
And what I think is it possible that documentary, Mr. Warmth, maybe Scorsese executive produced that? I don't know. I may be making things up.
I don't know. I met Don Rickles a few times. Oh, yeah.
Come on. Yeah. No, you didn't.
No, I met him a number of times.
When you say meet him, did he just insult you from the stage?
He was the sweetest, nicest guy.
Well,
he was
buried
like
the lead.
an affable uncle. That's what he was like.
Yeah, probably.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Do you have a
Hockey
soda?
Puck?
No, there was none of that. That was a performance. That was a guy.
Yeah.
There were some guys who never turned it off. From that era.
Right. So he was a nice
Buddy
guy?
Hackett was a guy who didn't turn it off. But
did you meet him?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Here's another guy who used to talk like this all the time.
And he never stopped.
Did I get it right exactly like that?
I'm doing impressions today. Ones I never even knew I could do.
It's wild, but...
Arnold Stang and Buddy Hackett.
Exactly.
I love those. I grew up on those guys.
Yeah.
I was a kid, but I grew up on them.
Yeah.
Before we turned on the mic, right, we were talking about Harvey Korman.
Yeah, that's how
we
started.
But you didn't meet him, did you?
Yes. I mean...
You didn't meet him.
Oh, yeah.
You met Harvey
all these
Korman?
people.
How did you meet these guys?
Okay, so
Neil
this is the
Cohen.
dirty little secret of Neil Cohen. And I will mention 2 names that will only have a meaning to people of a certain age, but that's why I can make references to Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and all these people. My aunt and uncle, my mom's little sister, was Edie Gourmet.
Wait a minute. Blame it on the
Bossa Nova, absolutely.
Edie Gourmet?
So Edie and Steve, who I used to take care of their kids, I was their babysitter when they'd go on the road.
Steve's still alive.
Yes, he is. And so through them, I got to meet...
He's your uncle, so to speak?
Steve's my uncle.
By marriage.
Right. And Aunt Edie is my Aunt Edie, who used to take me to, the beach in Long Beach here in Long Island when I was a little kid.
What an enormously talented couple. And he
gave me an insight into a whole world of show business.
Oh, I'm sure. She knew everybody.
Remarkable.
They were loved by everybody.
Yeah, and very serious about their music. Very serious and very knowledgeable about their music.
I bet. Well, he was also, he was talking about the Carol Burnett show, but he was a He was a regular on that.
Yeah.
He was on every season, I'm sure. And
both of them. Both, they would switch off. They would never appear together.
Okay.
They would switch off when they would appear.
No, but he was on more frequently.
Yeah.
More definitely.
Yeah.
He was very funny. I don't know. I don't remember her being funny, but I know that and he could do the James Cagney.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They would do that together. And in real life, he's hilarious, but my aunt was so hilarious it would blow your mind.
I bet.
From the Bronx. She was from the Bronx.
Right.
He was from Brooklyn. So
I didn't realize that.
That was a mixed marriage right there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, you were on an episode 3 years ago?
I think so. Two, maybe
2 or 3?
2 or 3.
When you were...
Re-unveiling. Chief Zabu.
Which was, I guess one could call it a curiosity. And we stayed in touch, which I'm very glad about. It's been a pleasure getting to become friends with you.
Thank you. Likewise.
And I say this on the show.
And I'm very proud of where you've taken the show and what's happened for Filmwax Radio.
Thank you. So I'm gonna hit record. So you say that last bit again? No,
I'm happy to. I'll say with even more emphasis.
No. So tell me.
I don't want you stepping on your compliments.
But now you've gone a very different direction, at least as far as my exposure to you is concerned. Maybe you have a more experience behind this than I know. But you've written a children's book?
Yes, I have. A children's book called American Gargoyles.
Splain.
It's about the gargoyles on an Art Deco building in New York, a building that was once celebrated but is now forgotten and surrounded by big glass structures who have to figure out how to keep their building from getting demolished by a Trump-like character named Mr. Donald Hairdo.
How subtle. How will people know that that's a reference to Donald Trump?
Well, the character of Donald Hairdo has orange hair and an orange suit. And
an orange
the
face?
Character was created some 10 years ago when he was just a comical real estate developer in New York. And the book has now come out now that he's the president of the United States, but that I had nothing to do with that.
Well, those who knew the Trump family, I come from Queens, where he hails. That's right.
Yes, absolutely.
But he wasn't so comical. What they were doing as a real estate family, and their practices were anything but funny, to anybody of color.
If anyone who heads down the highway to go to JFK passes a strange structure. It's maybe the ugliest building you'll ever see, and on the top it says the Trump Pavilion.
Oh, right.
And that's his dad, and it's symptomatic of the ugliness of a certain a family's milieu.
I can't wait to get a copy. I wish I...
I'll be able to show you a copy.
Oh, wonderful! Because I do have
I
have a couple of very young nephews.
Oh, great! Well, they're going to love it. It's very funny. The characters of the gargoyles. I mean, part of the challenge of doing the book, challenge for me, was to create these stone characters that don't get hit by lightning and start running around. They actually don't move. They're moved around by people, but they don't move, and yet they become the heroes of the city for saving a great building like the Chrysler Building or the Woolworth Building, such a structure. And it's great fun. Kids like it a lot.
Who illustrated it?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Wow, you're such a Renaissance man. I had no idea.
I'm even a T-shirt man because what's happened is the characters have been adopted by skateboarders. The skateboarders like from places like South Florida and Venice Beach and Utah. And so people have written to me requesting T-shirts of these gargoyles, and they post online. So I see these characters in China. I see them in Denmark.
You keep saying to me when you're texting me or telling me how tech illiterate you are. I think you really need to fix some of that. Tech illiterate.
I'm completely tech illiterate.
I know you are, but stop.
We tried to do this over the phone.
Trapping yourself.
And I went into a depression when you described to me what I had to do.
It's so no, I could have walked you through it.
Okay, so here's an example.
I did it with Joseph McBride. He was so thrilled. Do you know Joseph McBride, the film historian? I talked him through it on the phone, like what we...
You could probably talk me through it.
I can, and you should embrace this.
I'll give you an example of why the book is how it is and why people are embracing it. I didn't know when you illustrate your own book that you're not supposed to on the page that you're illustrating, also write all the dialogue and the words over the characters.
Oh, yeah.
Now, then when you want to make a change, you got to get out the whiteout and spill it over your words and then rewrite over it and fix up your drawings. This is the magic that the publisher himself fell in love with, and why the book is kind of this unique character, because you actually see the Scotch tape and the whiteout and the eraser marks on it. And the book, I'm proud to say, is now in the museum bookshop of the Skyscraper Museum in Manhattan.
There's a Skyscraper Museum?
There's a Skyscraper Museum at Battery Park. I just got an email today. They're going to order copies at the Museum of the City of New York. Oh. It's at Greenlight Books.
That's up on Fifth Avenue on
That's
Museum
right.
Mile.
It's at Greenlight Books, where I'm doing a big event tomorrow.
Greenlight, that's the one in Fort Greene?
Fort Greene, and the one in Prospect Lefferts. I'm going to be doing an event at Book Culture that's ordered the book.
Oh, I know that place. That's on Upper East Side.
It's on the Upper East Side. There's one that's on the West Side. I'm going to be doing Long Island City, which is a great bookshop, the one in Long Island City. And in fact, I was invited to do the New York launch for American Gargoyles at Shakespeare and Company. So it's been embraced by these sort of New York organizations because it's a very New York kind of thing.
Absolutely. No, it's fantastic. Where do people find out about your appearances?
They can go to my website, which is AmericanGargoyles.com.
Excuse me, that's my lunch.
And they can also see my adventures at Instagram, American Gargoyles.
You are good at posting on there.
Yeah.
You've taken to some social media. I've seen you. I remember you doing a lot of tweeting during the Zabu year or two.
But if you noticed, when I did the tweeting during Chief Zabu, I never applied a hashtag because I never knew there were hashtags.
That's true.
So the only one who saw it was you and me.
Okay, no, that's not true. You did a fair amount of appearances, and you had some.
Well, some
you had
young
people
person,
you didn't have a ton of press, but you managed to get a New York Times feature article. So, so I don't want to hear anything, which is about 100 times more than the average filmmaker gets on a brand new film.
But that was from writing a letter to somebody and putting it in an envelope.
Glenn Kenny?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He wrote a whole piece on it because, as a curiosity, that film hits all the right notes. You know, it's just
if people don't
miraculous.
know about that
and that
film,
you got that asshole Zach Norman, as you
I love this guy. He's my best buddy, and stop saying this. He's saying this with a smile to anyone who's listening.
I wanted to Zach Norman is a hero.
He's the greatest guy, and we're going to be doing in the autumn. I think that's what they call October. Yeah, we're going to do a series of screenings of Chief Zabu at the Spectacle Theater in Brooklyn.
Okay, well, he's coming for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he couldn't make it to the now defunct Videology. But he's going to be literally 2 blocks away, I think, at Spectacle. So if he thought I thought your ride is here. They're
That's
a little
right.
early.
I think I'm going to be arrested for saying something bad about Chief Zabu. Or
Zach and you are going to be at the Spectacle Theater in the fall. We'll maybe we'll have a reunion.
Oh, that would be great fun.
We'll do a reunion.
That'd be great fun.
In the meantime, again, the name of this book is called American Gargoyles, plural.
American Gargoyles, indeed it is.
And you, who published it?
Yeah, it's published by Rare Bird Books.
Rare Bird.
Out of Los Angeles. It's the
Very
fastest growing and actually largest
publisher
in L.A.
Of children's books?
Or just very hardcore books.
Is it meant for children? Because whether you intended it or not, it's just hard to market a book packaged as a children's book to adults, I've noticed. But it's sort of like when you do the cartoon shows, because I know so few of the names, but SpongeBob, where you have parents can appreciate it while they are forced to watch it with their kids because there's a lot of inside jokes meant for adult audiences. Is that the case with this book?
It's absolutely the case. And they're marketing it both as a kid's book and a bit of a novelty.
Right.
Because it is packed with a lot of grown-up jokes. And so the characters play to little kids, but they also seem to play to kids who are a little older. It's marketed to 3 to 8-year-olds, but 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds seem to be embracing
older
it.
Brothers and sisters.
Yeah, and it breaks most of the rules of a kid's book. It's not meant to put you to sleep. The drawings are kind of crazy and perhaps even irritable.
Well, what book that's in the fine tradition, then, because you know what book really changed my world as a child? The children's book that I'm referring to.
What's that?
Well, like Maurice Sendak's
exactly.
Where the Wild Things Are. I mean, that
and I was proud in some
imprint.
review somebody actually made that
connection?
Allusion
really?
to my book.
Is that true?
That it had a Sendak-like quality.
Oh, wow.
It's also got too many words. It's also got too many drawings. And it's also got a lot of twists and turns in the plot.
Lovely.
So the kids are having a lot of fun with it.
Good.
And I'm sort of not surprised that some people have embraced these characters.
Yeah, well,
and
no kids care how long a book. You can read them over a series of nights. You don't have to read it all in one day. A lot of kids like books that they can begin and end in one night, but also a lot of kids are, when they get to a certain age also, they like waiting and anticipating, the next section of the book, where they can...
even the cover itself is kind of... looks
beautiful.
like a wall.
It
doesn't look like a coloring book. It looks like a crazy building that you'd go past in New York and say, when did anyone get the soot off that thing? It must have been in 1956.
The American Gargoyles have one mission: to save their home. The once celebrated but now forgotten Wentworth Building is targeted for destruction by an egomaniacal developer who wants to knock it down to build a giant mirror so he can look at himself all day. Working together, the sooty statues go from being ignored stone carvings to brave and brainy heroes cheered by the entire city. The name of the book, again, American Gargoyles, written and illustrated by Filmwax radio friend Neil Cohen, FFF, Filmwax friend forever. Thank you, Neil.
It's been a pleasure, as always. It's a pleasure talking to Adam Schartoff. And anyone out there who gets a call from him, don't just call him. Wait till he calls you, please. But anyone who does get a call from him, jump at the opportunity, because you're just going to have a wonderful time hanging with this guy. Even if he sabotages your family, you'll still have him as a friend forever.
It says writer and illustrator Neil Cohen from Queens, New York, is the co-director of the cult. I guess this is your profile page or your bio. What do you call it?
That's me.
Is the co-writer and co-director of the cult comedy Chief Zabu. He now lives in Santa Monica and the Hudson Valley.
Good night.